On the morning of June 7th, 1992, three women vanished from a quiet neighborhood in Springfield, Missouri. They didn't leave behind signs of a violent struggle. They didn't take their purses, their cars, or their identification. And more than 30 years later, no one knows where they went or what happened to them. This is the case of the Springfield Three. It's a mystery so strange, so unsettling, that it continues to haunt investigators, journalists, and true crime fans decades later. And despite thousands of tips, multiple suspects, and national media coverage, this case remains completely unsolved. Now, let's tear into it. On the evening of June 6, 1992, Springfield was celebrating graduation weekend. 19-year-old Suzanne Suzie Streeter and her best friend Stacy Kathleen McCall had just graduated from Kickapoo High School. Like many teens that night, they were moving from party to party, celebrating the end of one chapter of their lives. Originally, Suzie planned to stay the night with Stacy at her home. But after the girls found the house crowded with visiting relatives, they decided instead to go back to Suzie's home on Delmar Street, where Suzie lived with her mother, Sherrill Elizabeth Levitt. Sometime after 2 a.m., the two girls arrived at the house. That was the last confirmed time any of the three women were seen alive. Sherrill Levitt was 47 years old. She was a cosmetologist at a local salon and a single mother who was extremely close to her daughter. Friends described her as responsible, caring, and dependable. Suzie Streeter was 19. Petite, blonde, and outgoing, she was known for her warm personality and strong friendships. She had just graduated high school and was looking ahead to her future. Stacy McCall was 18 years old. She was athletic, kind, and well-liked. She worked at a local gymnastics center and had plans for college. None of them had any reason to disappear voluntarily. On Sunday, June 7th, friends expected to hear from Suzie and Stacy. When the girls didn't answer phone calls, concern quickly turned into worry. Later that day, several friends drove to Sherrill Levitt's home to check on them. What they found was confusing. The house looked normal, too normal. Suzie's car and Stacy's car were parked outside. Their purses were inside. Money, cigarettes, keys, medications, and driver's licenses were all left behind. Even the family dog Cinnamon was still inside the house, but the women were gone. Before police were ever called, friends and family members entered the home. They cleaned up, they washed coffee cups, they emptied ashtrays, they moved things around. By the time Springfield police arrived, investigators later estimated that 10 to 20 people had already contaminated the scene. Officer Rick Bookout later said when he arrived, the front door was open and people were coming and going from inside the house. There were no obvious signs of a struggle, no blood, no overturned furniture, no forced entry. The only thing out of place was a broken porch-like globe near the front door. And inside the house, Sherrill's bed appeared to have been slept in. One of the most haunting details in this case involves the answering machine. There was a message left overnight that police believe may have been important. But before investigators could listen to it, it was accidentally erased. To this day, no one knows what was on that recording. And no one knows if it could have solved the case. The following days only deepened the mystery. Sherrill Levitt had a doctor's appointment on Monday, June 8th. She never showed up. Stacy McCall was scheduled to work that same day at the Springfield Gymnastics Center. She never arrived. Suzie Streeter was scheduled to work at a local movie theater on Tuesday, June 9th. She never clocked in. Three responsible women simply vanished, without a trace. From the beginning, investigators believed this was an abduction. The fact that all three women were taken at once suggests someone either was known to them, had a weapon, or caught them completely off guard. The broken porch light may indicate someone approached the house late at night, but without physical evidence, investigators were left chasing theories instead of facts. On December 31st, 1992, a man called the America's Most Wanted hotline. He claimed to have information about the disappearance of the Springfield Three. Police later said the caller had prime knowledge of the abductions, but as the operator attempted to connect him with Springfield investigators, the call was disconnected. Despite public pleas, the man never called back. That moment is considered one of the greatest missed opportunities in the case. One of the most infamous theories emerged years later. A tip claimed that the women's bodies were buried beneath the south parking garage at Cox Hospital. In 2007, a mechanical engineer used ground-penetrating radar and identified 3 anomalies that he believed were consistent with graves. 2 were parallel, 1 was perpendicular. But Springfield police ultimately dismissed the theory. The garage was built more than a year after the women disappeared, and investigators said the tip lacked credible evidence. Digging up the structure would have been extremely costly. No excavation was ever done. One early person of interest was Dustin Recla, Suzie Streeter's former boyfriend. Recla had previously broken into a mausoleum and stolen gold fillings from a skull. Suzie had given a statement about that crime and was rumored to be a potential witness against him. Recla and 2 accomplices were known to be together and in the area the night the women vanished. However, no physical evidence ever tied him to the disappearance. Another chilling suspect is Larry DeWayne Hall, a suspected serial killer believed to be responsible for dozens of murders across the Midwest. Hall traveled to Civil War reenactments, which often coincided with the time and locations of his alleged crimes. 2 reenactments took place on June 6, 1992, within driving distance of Springfield. Hall later confessed to numerous murders to a former FBI operative, providing details only the killer would know. However, no direct evidence has ever linked Hall to the Springfield Three. In 1997, convicted kidnapper Robert Craig Cox claimed he knew the women had been murdered and that their bodies would never be found. Cox lived in Springfield at the time of the disappearance. His alibi initially held, though his girlfriend later recanted her statement. Authorities remain unsure whether Cox was involved or simply seeking attention. He once claimed he would reveal the truth after his mother's death. So far, he hasn't. Another strong suspect is Gerald Carnahan, later convicted of rape and murder in an unrelated case. Carnahan had connections to the Galloping Goose motorcycle gang, which has long been rumored to have ties to the Springfield Three case. A gang member, Stephen Garrison, reportedly gave police credible information. Both men are currently serving prison sentences. Still, nothing has ever been proven. In 1997, Sherrill Levitt and Suzie Streeter were declared legally dead. But the case files remain officially listed as missing persons. No bodies, no arrests, no closure. More than 5,000 tips have been submitted over the years. The case has been featured on 48 Hours, America's Most Wanted, Disappeared, and People magazine investigates. A memorial bench sits quietly in Springfield's Phelps Grove Park, honoring the 3 women who never came home. And in 2021, a dedicated podcast once again brought national attention to the case. Yet still, no answers. The Springfield Three case is terrifying not because of what we know, but because of what we don't. 3 women vanished from a locked house. No witnesses, no physical evidence, no confirmed suspects, just silence. And until the truth is uncovered, the question remains: what really happened inside that house on Delmar Street in the early hours of June 7th, 1992? If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other true crime stories, because some cases refuse to be forgotten, and this is one of them. Thanks for watching.